Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Engelmann. I'm a sommelier in New York City. Been sommelier for the last 15 years or so. I lived in America for 10 years. I oversee all beverages for a restaurant here in Manhattan. And today we're going to talk about wine tasting.
My name's Christina. I'm with Grossman, Young and Hammond. I don't know anything about wine, and I am here to ask questions.
Great. Well, this is one of my favorite topics. I love wine. There's so many topics we can talk about, but I don't think anything replaces having a glass and really smelling it, tasting it, sharing it with friends, which we can't really at the moment, but having it with some food. I mean, it's an incredible thing, and that's why I love to teach and talk about wine tasting. So today I picked an Albarino. It's from Galicia. It's in northwestern Spain. And it's one of my favorite producers. I really like what they do. It's actually something I pour by the glass at the restaurant. So wine tasting. When it comes on to wine tasting, we can really break it down in three parts. So we look at the wine, we smell the wine, and then we taste the wine, right? The most important aspect is probably smelling. And the easy reason for that is if you have a cold or if you pinch your nose, when you drink, when you eat something, you can't really taste anything. So we use the retronasal cavities to get flavor when we eat, to taste things.
So it would be a good COVID test to taste some wine.
Yeah, most definitely. Unfortunately, yeah, another thing. But just by looking at a wine, you can obviously see whether it's white and red. Maybe you have your sweet wine, your ports, and so on. The color can indicate a few things. So, like a pale green, pale yellow color might indicate some certain grapes, and very often where they're grown. So, in a colder climate, you tend to have the grapes that give you a paler green or paler yellow. If that, so could be your Sauvignon Blanc, maybe your Chardonnay, and so on. So if you think
That's
of Chardonnay,
interesting. So I
pardon?
always thought the color came from the grape skins. That's not true.
It does. So and the easy reason to understand that, if you buy a red grape and you squeeze it, the juice is pale, is white. There's only a handful of red grapes that have red juice. So by skin contact, which is the juice and the skin together for a certain amount of hours or days, usually hours, you extract, I'm not going to use chemical words, but you extract things within the grapes that are going to give you the color. So, but very often, if you have that Chardonnay grown, whether it's Finger Lakes, which is cooler, and Central Coast California, which is much warmer, you can see different shades of yellow. So a deeper, darker yellow, usually in California. And then that tends to translate on the nose and on the palate when you taste and when you drink the wine. But here it's very clear, it's very vibrant, definitely something useful. It is indeed from a cooler climate. But let's talk about the smell. So smelling wine, what do we do? Pour it in a glass. That wine should be served at like 48, 50 degrees. So, you have it in your fridge, take it out for 15 minutes, let it warm up in a glass a little bit.
And what's actually happening when wine is opening up, so to speak?
When it's opening up, good question. Well, it's been trapped in that bottle for a few months, a few years. So I think it needs to wake up a little bit, just like us in the morning when we need a coffee or take a shower. I think temperature, because the wine served too cold, you're not going to smell as much. Like think about your tomatoes. Your tomatoes, you keep them, on a kitchen counter. Don't keep them in the fridge. Usually, if you want to try the difference, you could really see the difference in fragrance. And then you just want to bring oxygen, and that's going to allow the wine to reveal all those beautiful aromas. So some grapes are a bit more aromatic. Albarino is one of them. Like your Pinot Grigio is going to be a bit more neutral. It's not going to have as many flowers and as much fruit. But Albarino has a lot of orange. There's some yellow peach. You have, a bit like a apple, green apple usually, and things like that.
How can you get more confident with what types of words to use to describe wine?
You use your own. I don't think there's anything wrong. And, smelling aromas, I think is something very personal. Just like you like spicy food, you don't like spicy food. I think where you're grown, if you're grown in Hawaii and you're surrounded with pineapple and so on, maybe you're more prone to smelling pineapple in a wine than if you didn't. I remember starting in wine and not understanding all those aromas and words. So I asked a lot of questions. I smelled a lot of fruit and spices and so on. I can remember the first time I smelled blackcurrant in wine. It was so pungent, it was so expressive that the next time it was just a little bit, I picked that little nuance. But I think really is asking question and tasting as much as possible.
Cool, thanks.
And everyone has different expertise and so on, so I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, remember when I bought my first laptop and you go to a store and you're like, you're not too sure what to ask. So, say what you like, things you've enjoyed, and use your own words. And I think if you go to a restaurant or a wine shop where people should ask those questions, understand, and hopefully guide you. So we smell the wine. There's all those beautiful fruits. There's not really any oak. Oak can be a wonderful thing. It can add a lot of nuance, a bit of layers to the wine. It's like when you cook and you add a bit of spice. But here we don't have those toasted bread, that cinnamon, that vanilla, all those aromas that describe oak. But let's taste it. Beautiful, dry and crisp. So dryness, how do we perceive dryness? So sweetness is something we perceive on the tip of the tongue. Acidity is on the side, bitterness is on the back. An easy exercise to do at home is take a glass of water, squeeze a lemon juice in it. And then you're really going to see where you feel acidity. Add sugar in it, and you're going to feel where you perceive sweetness. So you'll have a great lemonade, but also it's a really fun exercise. So that one is dry. Albarino is really a medium-bodied style of wine, meaning it's not a light 8% alcohol German Riesling, but it's also not a full-bodied Chardonnay, maybe grown in California. And another exercise to explain how light or heavy a wine is, you can do another exercise at home, is you drink milk, you drink low-fat, skim milk, or go for it and drink a glass of cream. And then you'll understand what's light, more medium, and what's fuller, and the weight he really has on your palate. So that's an easy, fun exercise. But wonderful, dry, crisp, meaning it's very refreshing. It makes me salivate, right? And you start really from the beginning all the way to the back. And for that reason, I think they're great wine to go with an aperitif, just on its own. That region of Spain has a lot of seafood, so you can go with your clams, maybe some oysters. The other day I made some octopus, which was just seared, sliced, smoked paprika, lemon juice, olive oil. Just an amazing pairing with it. But you could finish maybe with a white meat like chicken or goat cheese, something like that.
Well, now I am thirsty and hungry.
I know that's the goal, right? And that's why I think the big takeaway is, as it goes, is build those little memories and try to remember, with your own words again, what felt light, what felt full-bodied. I think a Pinot Noir is going to be lighter than a Zinfandel or a Cabernet Sauvignon, and trying to remember those things will be helpful. And the more you'll taste, the more you'll ask questions, and the more you can advance. But that's it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for keeping us entertained amidst the pandemic.
Yeah, certainly. Anytime. Thank you.